What's up, guys? Cool build to show off, as they all are. So I'm always going to call them a cool build. We've got a new dial. I was trying to do the silver sunburst initially, but the quality control from the place, there were a couple little like marks on it, and with a sunburst dial you can really see them, and I tried and couldn't get them out. But you know what else I had bought just in case? A matte finished dial, and it came out better than I thought. And since it was matte finished, I went with a bead blasted case. I had a bead blasted 150, so I did kind of a mixture. It's more of a matte finish with polished indices, so I thought let's do a matte finished bezel insert, a polished bezel, polished hands, polished crown. It's brushed, but it's more of a polish ring on the back with one of my logo casebacks. I've only done a couple of these, but it's done in a matte finish, and I had one of them, so I thought, you know what, all of this is cool. Let's mix it all together. So you've got a matte finished kind of classic dial. This is made for NH movements, so I have to grind off the posts, get them nice and flush, and then apply it to my movement. So I guess I'll probably call this like a classic matte silver as the description. As I said, bead blasted 150 case, polished shark tooth bezel. This is actually called a titanium 5-dot, but it kind of has a nice looking matte finish that goes really well with just silvers in general. Also looks good with black. So went with that. Did a Moldova handset with a long loom seconds hand. Just your classic standard 350 crown. There's an automatic movement in here, stainless steel movement holder you just can't see, with a little autographed rotor. It's inside there. So this is a milled standard case back that had, you know, design back here, milled, bead blasted, and then engraved BVW case back. And then this is on one of my super soft Italian aviator straps. This is a little different than the standard aviator one. This is just the light brown version of that. The other one that I used to do, which I still have a bunch of, is a darker brown with black in it. So this is just super soft with an off-white stitching. I've had people ask me or tell me that I forgot to stitch there. That is design in artistry, so it is supposed to look like that. And a brushed preview buckle. So that's the build. Loom on this actually doesn't look too terrible at all. So that's what we've got right there. Bezel on this will turn left. It'll turn right, but it is on there nice and stout. This actually has one of my tension rings in it. My original guy used to make me 0.4 millimeter thickness tension rings, and for some reason he moved to a 0.35 millimeter, which makes them move a little bit more and prompts me to put a little bends in them to make additional contact to where they're a little bit tougher to move. This is actually a 0.4 millimeter. It might be one of the only ones I have left, but I had this bezel and insert built where I didn't use it for a wash, and I had it sitting inside my box in a baggie, and I have hundreds of inserts in there, and I just stumbled upon it, and when I snapped it on there, I was like, oh, this must have been up here for over a year, because it's got the proper tension ring in it that I prefer. So bezel will turn left, it'll turn right, held on with the tension ring, but it's on there nice and tight, so you shouldn't accidentally bump it or anything like that. It is tough to move. Automatic mechanical, as I referenced before, just you can't see your rotor. Back the crown off the threads until you hear it and feel it clicking. At that point, you can wind. And a wind is a turn away from you. Turning it towards you doesn't wind it, but it's a lot easier to keep your finger spacing and go back and forth. That for 4 or 5 seconds mixed with your rotor movement should keep your time throughout the day, but if you're going to be driving or at a desk, make sure you wind it up more. You can't overwind it but if you do this for about 15 seconds, you're going to max out your 31-hour power reserve on it. When you're happy with your winding, you're going to pull it to the one and only click. You can, at that point, set your time. It doesn't have a hacking movement, so it's going to keep going on you. You'll also notice you've got a wobble crown. This deflects lateral pressure from going into the movement and into putting any adverse pressure on there. Also, with the clutch system, once you screw this back down, it disconnects from the movement, so if you get any impact, it doesn't transfer into your keyless works or into your movement. So the wobble crown has functionality. Some people go, I think it's going to fall off. I think something's wrong. It's not going to fall off. The only way I've ever got them to fall off is I've put immense heat to them. I use some MAP gas to try and, I used to, well, I still do, but do some like iridescent work with cases. And I want the crown to match too, but if you hold it on there for more than a second, it will literally melt the that connection between the two. So I gotta like flash throw it on there. But other than that, I've never had one come off. People have these watches from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. It's the same style movement and crown setup that's been used the whole time. And I've never even seen anybody go, I was working on this and now I have this little crown head. What do I do? Like, I've never even seen it. So it's funny when people say that. But, okay, Google, what time is it?
It's 12:49 p.m.
12:49 p.m. When you're good, push it over, get it out of that time setting, and screw it down. As with every build, you're going to get matching beads. Also, you're going to get this in a brown BBW Special Edition box. It's going to come with watch cleaner. This is good on all glass and metal parts, so everything here in the center, as well as a white microfiber, non-streaky, non-toxic, non-residue, some leather conditioner to keep that strap perfectly soft. Apply it on the front and back. Let it soak in. Remove any excess. That's only if you ever feel that this Italian leather is not as soft as it should be, or use it on some of the straps for watches that you buy with that tough leather that's just manufactured. You know what it is. It's branded on the inside and the back. It says genuine leather. Those guys. You're also going to get some fine scratch remover. This is Novus 2 from Amazon. We just repackaged. It's like poly watch. It's for your acrylic glass because you can scratch it. But if you do, no big deal. Put a tiny bit of this on it and buff it out using your color matching microfiber. If the scratch is up and down, go left and right, fill in that scratch, haze it, buff it out. If it's still there, revisit it after a little bit, let that solidify, and keep building this stuff up in there to polish out your acrylic glass. And that is the build. If it's going to you, congrats. I hope you love it. This is I'm probably going to call it like a classy matte silver or classic silver. I'm not sure what I'm going to call it, but it's more of a classic dial. And I'm not going to necessarily rebrand or relabel or utilize their label from the company that I bought it from. I think they're just calling it like a matte sterile NH38 dial or NH70, something like that. So do something like that so at least I know what somebody's talking about when they reference it. But that's the build. As I said, if it's going to you, thank you so much for your support. I hope you love it. Should be available tonight in the waffle. And then for purchase thereafter if it's not selected. So if you want me to build you something custom and unique, reach out and I'll see what I can do. And if you want to continue to see videos like this, like and subscribe as I put them up all the time. Thanks, guys.